thing. Let the card decide. Right, I'm ready to press the start button. Are you ready to do your thing?
I'm ready. I'm doing my thing.
Right then. 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody. Whether you're listening live on YouTube or Telegram, or whether you are listening to the replay, hello and welcome. So, I didn't really have a topic for tonight. You have to excuse me because I'm having frequency light upgrades at the moment. So my voice is a bit weird. And I might sneeze a little bit. So if I do, bless me. So yeah, the idea tonight, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, like the old bran tub, the bran-filled-tubs, lucky dip type scenarios, yeah? So, let me grab my cards. So, what is the theme for tonight's talk? So I'm using the Gateway of Light Activation cards to get a theme, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So, what is the theme for tonight's show, please? Okay, it's that card there. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So, this is Shambhala initiations. Let me just take a picture for those on Telegram. This is a really nice card. And what's really interesting, let me just move my thumb out of the way, is that we are currently experiencing a vast wave of energy. I know for a fact we were in a geomagnetic storm. I think there were more solar flares going on. I don't know the exact details, but it's a massive wave of energy hitting us at the moment. And according to Alexander Quinn, some of us might be experiencing frequency light upgrades, which is why I've got a cough, sneezing, and a nose that doesn't know what it's doing. So the words on this card, on the Shambhala initiations, this is really interesting. Retreating to recharge, bingo, yeah. Trusting in the process, bingo. And Dharma. So, retreating to recharge. Okay, so you could say, and we also have the object, the celestial object that is moving towards us. No one can make up their mind about what it is. So, you make up your own mind what it is, really, because it's going to be, the meaning of it is going to be personal to you, no matter what anyone else says. Yeah. So, it could be something alien. It could be a natural phenomenon. Who knows? So part of that, part of the we don't know what it is trusting the process, yeah, allowing it to unfold as it will, which can be very challenging because we are kind of taught to, we must know. This is all the mind stuff. We must know what this is. Yeah, by hook or by crook, we must know what this is. And it's like, well, no, you don't really need to know what it is. Just, let it unfold. So that's definitely trusting the process right there. And the picture is quite interesting because what I see, let me turn the camera on the other way. What I see there, so on that card that I've posted, it's like there's a wave of energy. Now, is it emitting from the building or is it moving toward the building? Could be either. Could be both. Yeah. Very interesting. So let me just grab the book and see what it says about this, and we'll get a little bit more information. But the retreating to recharge definitely feels that way this week with these frequency light upgrades for sure. Let me just find the page. Shambhala initiations. So Shambhala is also, we call it Shangri-La, call it, heaven, Summerlands, however you want to describe that, yeah. It's, some people would even call it New Earth, yeah. So this is an etheric retreat, if you like, for want of a better word. So let me just scan this. Okay, your message. Okay, I'm going to read this from the book. When things quieten down in your life, know that this isn't a failure, but an opportunity to retreat and recharge. So I think there has been, because there was a lot of energetic stuff going on in August, which was a bit mad. So it felt like things had settled down, but now they're going back up again. Yeah. So in the busyness of the physical world, our spirit is often playing catch up with our body to the point that it gets used to being overactive and overworked. When the great masters of Shambhala come to you, they are encouraging you to take time to be away from the outer world and dive into the inner world. That's the great work. Yeah, right there. If you have been moving full speed ahead, this gateway encourages you to slow down and retreat. That's definitely in the kind of idea of love consciousness. One of the main things is slowing down. So that's not just slowing down your walking pace, yeah. That's slowing down. So not feeling like you should be doing this or should be doing that. In fact, some of the things that we should ourselves over are things that we don't even particularly like or want to be doing, yeah. So, you can tweak those things or you can get rid of them completely. There's no rules in that. But certainly time is certainly a time for meditation, definitely, in whatever way, shape or form, being creative in an authentic way, yeah. So it says, take time to gather your energy. Spend time in meditation and reflection in order to gain a clearer awareness of your current situation. You will uncover many insights and gifts during this period. Realize that there is a master awakening within. So I really like that. And your Dharma, that's your divine purpose. So from a soul realignment perspective, aside from one soul group who are called mission realmers, we don't really have a mission when we incarnate, aside from, allowing our soul to express itself and have the experiences that it wants to have. So, again, that's going to be individual to each person. It's going to be very personal. So even how you are creative is, different from one person to another. So this idea of retreating, recharging, allowing this very strong energy just to pass through, not holding on, not labeling it, very important. And just allowing it to do its stuff as it moves through your physical being, which can be challenging. Breath work can help with that. So the 4-4-8 breath, what it does is my words are failing me. It engages the relaxation response. And singing is another really good way to do that. If you don't want to do breath work, sing, because the exhale is always longer than the inhale. So you'll get that relaxation response the same way. Walking is an amazing way to just decompress. And that's what this is really about. This is about decompressing, because we're constantly got stuff, all sides pushing, So taking that time out to decompress in whatever way, shape or form you resonate with, for a better word, what works for you. And it doesn't matter what that is. As long as you're not harming other people or causing damage, then that's good. and the trusting the process. So there's a word that I'm going to say, which, you might go, at, I used to, the word surrender. Yeah. Which has been coming up quite a lot in readings. I've incorporated it into my, the intentions that I set in at night before I go to sleep and in the morning, and sometimes during the day as well, depending on what's coming up. So you can use the word surrender. So the word surrender doesn't mean you're giving up. Yeah. The word surrender means that you are aligning with your true nature, which is a being of, well, it's a fluid being. Yeah. Not in a strange wokey way. Yeah. This is surrendering to your true nature, which is, you could say, the light of love consciousness. Yeah. It's funny because sci-fi is amazing for showing us that particular aspect of ourselves. And it usually takes the form of either light, like a light body, or light particles that move. And I would say that is where we're headed towards, which some call Homo luminous. Yeah, the illuminated human, for a better word. Now, what that feels like, who knows? Yeah, but you can get close to it in meditation. So when you're in meditation, or if you're being creative, because the same thing happens when you're being authentically creative, your whole being falls away, and it's like you're not there. Yeah, there's just this either silence if you're in meditation and stillness, or if you're being creative, there's just an outflowing of energy, which you are then expressing in some way, shape, or form in this outer world. Yeah. So the trusting of the process involves that surrender to, your soul, if you like, because it's never going to guide you in a way that is nefarious. It's never going to do that. Anything nefarious is always going to be coming from outside, trying to program you, essentially. Yeah. So yeah, your dharma is definitely, your how do you want to be in this reality that we're in this realm, in this matrix? Yeah, all those words, or none of those words. So, okay, let's pull another card. Now I've got here, these are the healing waters. Because I did have an idea at the beginning of the week for a talk, but it didn't kind of expand into anything about the importance of the water elemental at the moment. And it never really kind of morphed into anything. So, and that might be one for another day. But what I thought I would do is, oh, there we go, get these cards out. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness, that's mad. So we've got a Lady of the Lake. Wow. And what's really interesting about that is we've been seeing and hearing the word Albion quite a lot from different places. Yeah, Albion being the original name of this land, which I would say is connected to Avalon, definitely. And here we have the Lady of the Lake, and underneath it says New Beginnings. And something is about to happen. Okay, so what does that mean? So we were talking with some friends today, and they voiced something that I felt a few days ago. And I woke up and there was an energy that was, I couldn't really put it into words. It was a bit like, when you're a kid and Christmas morning comes and there's a sense of anticipation, but it's not really high. It wasn't, it wasn't quite like Christmas morning where your expectation is like, wow. And if you were like me as a kid, you'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning opening your Christmas stocking, and seeing what annual I got for Christmas that year. So it wasn't quite up in that kind of register, yeah. But there was definitely a sense of something had flipped, and there was something new arriving, yeah. So this card absolutely is telling us that. So when we were talking to our friends today, they were saying it's like the seasons, it went from summer to autumn like that, yeah, really quickly. It was like a light switch going off or on, yeah. It was very quick, which I find really interesting. So if that is an energy of a change that is how can I describe it? It's like changing gear in a car, yeah. You get a very different experience driving in first gear to what you do driving in fifth gear. Obviously, you can't go from first to fifth, that would hurt. But that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like we're now on the cusp of something as we move into September. And I know a lot of people are saying the same thing. And there's definitely been an energetic shift. Now, is it up a gear or is it down a gear? I'm not sure. I can actually ask that question. Okay, let's go. So let's ask that question. Is the shift that people have been experiencing up a gear or down a gear? Or I could ask, what is that? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got two. Tricky cards. Oh, wow. So we've got, these are the Metatron deck. So we've got Indigo. And that says mystery and mastery of life. Interesting. And then we've got grounding and support, Mother Earth. Wow. So I know at the moment there's quite a lot of, there has been and there still is a lot of activity going on with the Earth at the moment, like in terms of the volatility. I don't even know if that's the right word, but she's purging stuff, yeah, through fire and through you could say through, what would that be, the shaking of the earth. I suppose that's the earth element, yeah. So through earthquakes and through fire, definitely. So what is that energy shift? Well, definitely stepping up and stepping into who we truly are, because that is, and it said that, I was talking about that, wasn't I, with the Shambhala initiations, the mastery, yeah, it said that when I read it from the book. A master is emerging from within, which is your soul, your higher self, whatever you want to call that, yeah, the part of you that's bigger and sees everything. Obviously, indigo is for me, that's the crown chakra. It's your third eye, not your crown chakra, sorry, your third eye chakra. So very much this energy that we've moved into is definitely going from these cards. It's a balance between being grounded, so you can actively do that, yeah, through many different things, through connecting, through barefoot on the earth, through walking, through drumming, through activating your root chakra and your the earth star chakra, yeah. There are so many ways that you can do grounding, yeah. So I'd always say that comes first, that bit comes first, the grounding comes first. And then when you tap into your intuition, get my words out, you are grounded enough for it to integrate, yeah, for that information, for want of a better word, to move through you, yeah. Now, years ago, it's got to be nearly 10 years ago, we were kind of asking the question about why is it that there's this drive in a lot of people that we see for more, bigger, more, faster, more, yeah. I've never really understood that. But one of the things that was interesting when we were having these conversations over a few days is what I realized is there's always a lot of talk about the upper chakras. Yeah. Oh, you must activate. That's a new word. Activate, your throat and there's a lot of focus on the third eye and the crown. But unless you are grounded, yeah, unless you work on grounding that energy, then that could actually send you spiraling, yeah, into like a what's the word? Not psychosis, but like a spiraling in that energy of not being satisfied, not being content, yeah, not being happy, content, and at peace, yeah. So that was quite interesting where we landed with that, and it's really funny how this has then come up in these cards. So the grounding comes first, yeah, always. And then tapping into your intuitive nature. So that's the shift in energy, I would say. So through September, which is very, very earthy, yeah. We've had a lot of rain these past few days, a lot of rain. I mean, proper stair rods rain. So it makes that smell that you get, yeah. I don't know if you guys smell the rain. I smell the rain, although not today because my nose is stuffed up. But it makes that very earthy smell very prevalent, yeah. And obviously at this time of year we have the equinox, which is the second harvest. So that's all about the earth, yeah. The harvest is all about the earth. So yeah, this energy is definitely one of, if you're not actively working on grounding, I would definitely do that. And then your intuition, your Ajna chakra, your third eye chakra, it's like expanding. Even in the card, that's connecting with a star. I don't know what star it is. I would have to look in the book to find that out. I mean, to me, that looks like the North Star. It's very, very bright. Yeah, so that gives you right there the North Star, your true north, your true direction. So I think what this energetic shift is about is, make sure you're grounded and then tap into your intuition. Have a conversation with your higher self. You can do that. Anyone can do that if they choose to. Yeah. And actually ask those questions. how does my soul want to express itself from this point onwards, and asking for your intuitive gifts to, be revealed to you. And obviously you need to be open and receptive to that. Yeah. So when it comes up, don't shove it to one side. Yeah. You might have to work out how to use it. But that's the connection with your higher self. That's what that's about. Yeah. And sometimes you might have to kick yourself up the bum to, put things into practice. I know that because I've had to do that myself. So that's what I'd say that shift was about. That feeling of it's basically turned a page. Yeah, it's like turning a page in a book. Okay, so let's ask the question of, let's get these water cards out again. Actually, let's just see what card comes out. Oh, there we go. Straight away. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Wow. So this is stagnant waters. So one of the reasons, and you might have asked for this, yeah? You might have actually put that out there for things to start moving. Because you are, or you were, feeling stuck. Yeah. So this is a card of coming from this place of retreating to recharge. Yeah. Sometimes that retreating can turn into stagnant waters. Yeah. So it's, this embrace of new beginnings. Something is about to happen, which we've talked about, that flip, the turning of the page. Actively working on your grounding. And I would say that the drum is, for me, the most fun way to ground. Yeah. Because the drum is directly connected to the earth elemental. Yeah. So, if you can go outside, wherever you can, and drum, it's phenomenal. Yeah. It's really good at grounding. And then tapping into your intuition, really connecting with your higher self and asking those questions. There'll be a process, trusting the process of, asking for things to move, asking for things to shift. And then what you get then is you get the natural flow of things, and you are the flow. You're not in the river, you are the river. Yeah. Very important. And with that comes change. Yeah. Now, what's really interesting about that card is we've had a little bit of movement actually on the situation with our downstairs neighbour. There's been some positive movement from authorities. I'm not going to say much more about that, but it's movement, and for a long time it was stuck. Now we're 4 days into September, and already we've got some movement. So this here clarifies that for me. And I'm hoping that it clarifies something for you as well. So if you have been feeling, like you've been hiding away, or you've not felt like engaging with things, or it might be that you've had no energy to engage with things. I get that completely. I mean, this path we're walking, this illuminated synchro-mystic path of ascension is, it's tough. And what I would say about that is we knew that before we agreed to come here. We knew what we were getting ourselves into 100%. Yeah. You can't be a powerful creative being and go, oh no, I didn't choose this. Yes, you did. You chose it. And that's powerful. Why is that powerful? Because if you chose it, yeah, then you're in control of it. You are the what's the word? You are the being who is putting a frequency out there, of creation. Okay, so that's, frequency, vibration, sound. It's all the same thing. So when you are grounded, tapped into your intuition, asking those questions, and then things walk in front of your magical eyes, and you go, there we go. Okay, confirmation. Yeah. You can then start expressing that through your hands, which are connected to your heart center. Yeah, they're connected to the heart chakra, your hands. Yeah. And then you get into this flow of creation. Yeah. So if you are all of that, then you are powerful. Be under no illusion. Yeah. You are powerful. But we're told we're not. We are told many things that are not true, in fact, about who we are, let alone anything else. So, yeah, if you've been feeling stuck, then you can ask. Ask your higher self or your guides, your angels, your deities, because deities are guides as well. So if you work with deities, they can help to guide you. Yeah. Different deities will guide you in different ways through different things. For example, Ariane Rod will nudge you. She's good at nudging on your path of sovereignty, for example. Yeah. Kali is a really good deity to connect with when it comes to cutting cords. Yeah. She's amazing for that. Yeah. If you wanted to work with a psychopomp, you have many choices there, actually. You have Hecate, you have Arwen, you have Odin, Sekhmet to some degree, and Rhiannon to some degree. So there are many deities for different flavors of help, if you like. Yeah. Although, little side note there, a little tab on that one. Never, if you're working with a deity, never go to them cap in hand. Yeah, you meet them as equals. Full stop. Yeah, they're like a friend. They are not someone that you bow down to, and don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay, so let's go with Let's pull a couple of tarot cards and see what comes out, shall we? I love this deck. I was using it the whoa, no, that's a spill. Stop it. They're being naughty. So I was using this deck the other day in the Dismembering Tarot group. I do on a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on my Telegram group. Everything is magic. Yeah, I was using this deck, and it's a lovely. It just shouts, shouts at me. So we have the Knight of Wands. Wow, there's your fire right there. And what's really cool, he's got a little creature there. Let me just post this. Pardon me. He has a bit of a pan energy about him, actually, the Knight of Wands there. And we'll have one more, please. So we've got the Knight of Wands. Let's just move that up so you can see it. Move them up there. There we go. We have the Knight of Wands. So this is obviously Wands of Fire. There we go. We've got two. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Message here, excuse me, is don't allow your fire to don't run away with your fire. Yeah. Night energy is very action. Yeah. So don't take action without grounding. Yeah. Tapping into your intuition. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then what we've got, either side, I'm going to put these either side. We've got the sun. Oh, wow. And we've got the moon. Excuse me. We've got the moon. Excuse me. So, let me share those. The sun. Love that card. It's like a sunflower that's just gone. Yeah. I love that. And the moon card. So, what are these two cards telling us? This is balance. Yeah. So, in the Shambhala initiations, yeah, we've got that energy, which is, that'll be your frequency that you're emitting. Yeah. And also the energy that's coming in. So, it's a two-way process, if you like. That's the toroidal field right there. I'm making the toroidal field slide with my fingers. So there's your fire right there. So when you get grounded, yeah, and you're tapping into your intuition, that brings a balance. 100%. Yeah. So what you've got, the sun and the moon either side of the Knight of Wands, is all about balancing. Now, interestingly, the moon, so the sun is obviously fire, yeah, and the moon corresponds to the element of water. So this idea of water being important again. So one of the ways you can use water to bring balance is salt baths. So there you've got the two elements. You've got salt, which is earth, and water, which is obviously water. Yeah. So that's one way to bring that balance. And you can, if you want to put more layers in that, you can add certain herbs to your bath water. Always put them in a pouch, otherwise you get a big mess at the end of the bath. And you can actually put an intention into the herbs and into the salt. And if you don't have a bath, you can get around that. Yeah, you can put a little organza bag of salt and maybe herbs underneath your shower head and use it that way, which is really cool. I really like that. So it's all about balance, balancing the fire and the water, either side of that Knight of Wands, which can be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Impetuous. Yeah. So before you make any decisions, and this is the slowing down again, which was somewhere here. Where was it? Somewhere in there was slowing down. I can't remember where it was. So that's essentially what that's telling us. It's reiterating this idea of slowing down. So before you make a rash decision, because I don't know, maybe it's fueled by frustration, or maybe it's fueled by something, passion. If the decision you're about to make is not necessarily in alignment with who you truly are, then step back. Yeah, step back, go for a walk, do some breath work, whatever it takes to bring you back to center. Yeah, do it. Yeah, that's what will bring that balance. Yes, I like that. Okay. Any other business? Okay. So these cards are the Gospel of Aradia. And these are lovely. They're by Stacey DeMarco. She does some beautiful decks. She really does. There's quite a few of her decks that are on my list. The only thing I'll say about these, they're very big cards. And, you know, oh, there we go. I haven't got the smallest of hands, but they're a challenge. Okay, so let's turn them over. What have we got? Ooh, interesting. So we have, this is warrior energy, which is kind of the Knight of Swords energy. Yeah. Sorry, Knight of Wands energy. That fight energy. Yeah. That passion. And then we have ritual. So again, this is just confirming that, you know, when this energy comes up, that energy of, oh, I feel like I need to do something about this. That's when you know to bring in, and this could be actual ritual, yeah, so like casting a circle and all the rest of it, or it could just be your rituals of grounding, tapping you into your intuition, you know, connecting, asking your higher self for guidance or whatever guides that you want. They're very different, these two cards. One's quite dark and the other one is very light. So again, it's that balance. And what you've also got in the background of that is you've got I would say that's a new moon energy. So that's new beginnings, which we had with the the Lady of the Lake card, which is really cool. She's got the light, the candles in that card as well, which corresponds to the Shambhala initiation. That very like a warm white type of colour, which I would say that's I do like this word. I always try and get this word in whenever I can. Neutrinos. That's kind of how I see neutrinos, like warm white fairy lights dancing. Yeah, which is really cool. Yeah, so whatever rituals you do, your creativity, will definitely bring a balance to that energy of fight. So I just want to, where's the little book for that? There it is. Just grab the book. I just want to read from this book because there are usually mantras with each of these cards. So let's have a look. Fight. Okay. Okay, so it says here, sometimes we feel a surge of adrenaline, don't we? Absolutely. Especially when, for me, it's injustice. When injustice happens, it's like, because I don't understand why people engage in that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't get it. So it says anger, rage, injustice, there we go, or physical threat. Any of these can trigger the body to fight or flight or freeze, in fact. But even though just the thought of a fight of any kind can be frightening, there are times to fight for what is important to us. For example, you know, you might need to stand up to someone if you are under attack. Yeah. And that doesn't have to be actually fighting them. That can be, for example, ringing the police. Yeah. Aradia teaches us that we can fight, but we must fight fair. Yeah. So if someone's attacking you, if you're able, give them 3 warnings and say, right, I'm going to ring the police then because you're not stopping. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Um. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is amazing. But consider this as well. At times, surrendering may be the way through. So that's surrendering as in letting go of that initial thing that caused that reaction. So it's usually an injustice or frustration, yeah, about a situation or something similar. By surrendering to what is, we may be able to find the perfect solution. And that's the unfolding, that's the trusting the process, yeah. By surrendering, we do not necessarily lose, but might actually put ourselves in a stronger position than we were in before. By surrendering, to Jonathan Ross. By surrendering, we might find that although we may have lost the battle, we have not lost the war. I like that. So there is a mantra here. Where is it? Hang on, that's the wrong one. Okay. Stones and sticks may break my bones, teeth and blood, scrapes and moans. Wards to protect, magic abounds, no flesh to hurt, no hair and hounds. A little bit vague, but yeah, okay, we'll go with that. So someone might be able to use that. That's fine. So then we've got ritual. So this is it. Every day we create and observe our own rituals. That could be anything. Yeah. The simplest acts, when repeated, and especially when repeated with intention is 99% of universal law, can gain meaning. So, for example, if you always meditate in the same space, you build an energy there. You build a very powerful portal, a vortex, if you like. A ritual can be a sequence of specific words, set of actions, a song or a dance, and any of these can transform a state of mind, an emotion, or even a physical state. So this is the idea of using your toolbox, yeah, using what's in your toolbox to flip something, yeah. Aradia taught her followers rituals that gave them a connection to the love and assistance of Diana and the horned god. These rituals also provided access to the transformative powers of gratitude or reverence and devotion. The chants, prayers, and sacrifices she taught were quite specific, so that each woman, no matter where she was from, would be able to join a group and participate fully in the rites. Incantations or mantras, which were spoken rhythmically and with strong intention, were a prominent aspect of the Gospel of Aradia. There were often a part of the rituals Aradia passed on. I think that should be they were, and still are to this day in many witchcraft traditions. So the incantation on the mantra for this one, I like this. We join in flesh and heart in song, dancing our connection, whirling away our wrong. The way, the same way, repeated amongst our kind, passed down through blood, magic for all time. So feel free to use either of those or both, if you feel the need to. Yeah. So I think that's a really good place to open this up for discussion about what I've been talking about. So the floor is open, guys. If you would like to comment on what I've been rabbiting on about.
Hey up, Angie.
Hello.
Now, I'm trying to find an inspirational meme that I spotted today that I was going to save for tomorrow's thought for the day.
Okay.
Or thought for today. So let me see if I can find it.
Cool.
Here we go. Right. So I'm not going to save it for tomorrow's thought for today. I'm going to post it now on Holistic Radio. And
Okay.
the reason why I'm posting it is from what you've been talking about. I just thought it was very synchronistic that I saw this today out of the millions of potential views I could have seen
Yeah.
and have seen. I saw this.
Okay.
It's a bit of a read. It'll take a couple of minutes. But I thought you might find that interesting with regards to what you've been talking about tonight on the show. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to speed read it.
I'm going to read this out. Although not binary and existing on a spectrum, a more looping or spiral inclined mind will find a linear mind difficult to deal with, and vice versa. Absolutely, that's fluidic thinking, or thinking in layers. Overt communication will be required to reconcile sufficient understanding if the relationship is to be maintained long term. Sorry, it's my eyesight. A linear mind focuses on trajectory based progression, resolution, and closure. While exceptions exist, it will usually see the weight of the past as reduced, cancelled out, or neutralized by present actions. What is carried out in the present can therefore resolve past indiscretions to reach a net neutral, because through this lens, forgiveness is anchored in evidence of current behavior. The past is integrated and overwritten. The approach is pragmatically flavored. If you are good to me now, it balances what came before. A spiral mind is layered, operating like a sweeping, recurring sonar, and thus holds coexisting past and present internal timelines. Memory is present tense laced, and vice versa. The dividing lines are not as clean as what their counterpart enjoys. The past remains alive, present, and breathing, superimposed onto their appreciation of present goodwill. Forgiveness is therefore an internal integration process, a deep psychological reprogramming of ongoing re-acceptance, rather than an act of negation in which a net neutral recalculation enforces functional finality. That's a very long sentence. For spiral minds, both joy and pain can be true simultaneously. Without clear communication and awareness of this difference, the linear mind will feel as if they are never doing enough, their present efforts written off with little appreciation, while they are continuously punished for the past. Meanwhile, the spiral mind will feel the aches of the past are dismissed and prematurely buried alive, even as they show appreciation for present efforts. Interesting.
That might need 2 or 3 reads. It took me 2 or 3 reads to absorb what it was saying entirely.
Yeah.
But that's how I learn, by repeating, doing
Yeah.
it one, then doing it again, and then whilst I'm doing it the second, third, or fourth time, I'm contemplating what I've already read, and I know what's coming. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite
that's just
interesting.
the way I like to read and learn. But
Yeah,
I
so
thought, yes, that was interesting. That there's this view of a linear mind and a spiral mind.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
thought that was quite interesting. And the way that this person, Lauren, who's wrote this article, explains it and describes it. And it occurred to me that there are some people that are going to be both. They're going to both be a linear mind and a spiral inclined mind as well. And the reason why I say that is because when I read it the first time, the first thing that popped in my head was a toroidal field.
Yeah.
Which is linear and is also spiral.
and that's like so the linear mind is the logical mind, and the spiral mind or the fluidic mind is the intuition. So, yeah, I mean, if you can hold both of those, that's fantastic. Because logic needs to be tempered with intuition, otherwise, super logic is, you might as well be a computer.
You might as well be Spock.
Exactly. And if you can apply logic to intuition, then, you've got that's the balance again, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the balance again.
We see the divine, the balance of the divine masculine and feminine in the sun and the moon cards.
Yes.
But I think, and then once you achieve that remembrance of that balance needed, you're willing to fight for it.
Yeah.
And before you get to that point, the earth shakes, so you're given a shake, and then you have to take some time to recover. That's where the lady's lying on the grass and reflecting on, doing the shadow work sort of thing. And then it just seems like it's all leading to Shambhala, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool. But you got to take action.
Absolutely, you gotta do something, and that's your creative energy. That's your creativity. That Shambhala card was the first card that came out. So that's, if you like, the overarching theme of this energy that we're in at the moment. Trusting the process. And what is your personal dharma? What is the way that your soul wants to express itself in this realm? Definitely.
And the other thing as well to look at is linearly, we see the cards that you've posted up. We see them in a linear format.
Yeah.
But they're creating a spiral message.
Yes. Yeah, because it goes in and out. I mean, we've talked about that before. The spiral doesn't just move in one direction. It goes around, but it also goes up and down.
Yeah.
It's like a wonkavator. The spiral is a wonkavator.
That's why I circled it back to Shambhala card.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it kept coming back to the Shambhala card, and also the Lady of the Lake, also the grounding card, and the tapping into your intuition as well. So yeah, very cool. I like it. So I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know where everyone else went. They all disappeared.
Yeah, they're probably doing other things or going on other broadcasts.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Or just washing up.
Yeah. I do that.
I've been away from the tarot for a while, Angie, but it was very interesting, the insights I got from your spread today.
Oh, thank you, Kevin.
I enjoyed that.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, so get back to your tarot. If it's inspired you to get your cards out, even if you just pull a few cards and just tune into them. It doesn't have to be like, I need an outcome. You could just be looking at the artwork on them. I find the artwork on cards quite fascinating. That's why I like a lot of things going on in the card that I can look at, rather than just a card with one thing on it. I don't like that. So yeah, cool. I like that.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Angie.
That's okay.
Do you want me to stop the recording here, or?
Yeah. Do I have a witty little do I have a little thing to say? Yeah, one of the things I would say that you can put out as an intention is to stay open and receptive to all your gifts. Yeah. And you can set that intention, and then keep that dialogue going with your higher self, and see what comes up. Yeah.
Great advice, Angie. I'll be bringing the cards out.